Welcome to the Candy Shop Show. This is December 16th, 2015, and I'm Candy with my Diamond Forever friends, and we're going to have Christopher Stephen Jacobs as our guest speaker this evening. And we just welcome everybody here and later on YouTube. This will be just audio on YouTube, so folks can run around while you're listening. Okay. We like to start with the Candy Jar segment. And, Sonny, maybe you'd like to help me with that from California. Are you ready to go?
I'm ready.
Great. Well, of course, the most exciting thing today is the posting from Benjamin Fulford's report, and maybe Chris will have some things to share about that too. Wow, he's talking about all the wonderful things that the White Dragon Society is doing to help our planet over from Asia. He says the newly elected Canadian government led by Justin Trudeau has just been advised to send troops to Washington, D.C. and New York City in order to liberate the American people from the fascist oligarchs who seized power there in an illegal coup following the September 11th, 2001 false flag attack. The suggestion was made by the White Dragon Society in the following message that they sent to the Prime Minister on this past Monday, December 14th. Say, somebody hasn't muted themselves. Let's see. I guess I'll mute them. Sonny, are you on the moderator line?
Yes. Should I mute myself? I didn't mute because I thought you wanted me to interact.
Right. Good.
But I could mute now if it's too noisy.
You don't need to. It was someone else, I think, that was noisy. The White Dragon Society is offering to fully support Justin Trudeau if he orders the Canadian military to march on Washington, D.C. and New York City. They want him and the Canadians to order the arrest of the criminals that were responsible for all this mass murder. And as Alexander the Great said, fortune favors the bold. Trudeau can either head a feel-good rainbow nation and endlessly discuss such things as gender issues, or he can seize destiny by the horns and liberate the planet by freeing the American people.
Wow.
Yes. Oh,
so much happening.
Yes. The White Dragon message to Trudeau also read, we promise the support of Europe, the Pentagon, and the BRICS alliance if Canada will help rid the world of the rogue non-state actors based in the U.S. Also, senior Pentagon officials say they will cooperate with the Canadian government if they move on these two cities with the intent of arresting the criminals there. They are also willing to contemplate integrating. This is what the Pentagon is saying, supposedly. The United States into the United States of Canada. It's such a move and supported by the people in a fair vote. Had you heard about this, Sonny?
I heard something about it. Yeah, I've read something about it on Facebook, but I didn't really read all the details. But that's pretty interesting. That's pretty, they're...
Yeah, the Rothschild European royal family also supports this move, according to a special envoy sent to meet with the White Dragon Society representatives in Tokyo last week. Wow! So the Rothschilds are on in favor of this.
They are.
Yeah.
Wonder why? They want to keep control.
Well, we have weakened them, and I think the cabal has had a lot of fighting on the inside.
Yes.
Meanwhile, the Khazarian mafia, controlled by Israel, sent their president to Obama asking for help, and of course he said no. And so it's the Saudis, the Israelites, and the Turkeys, and the Nazi mercenary army that that we are all fighting. And so, I mean, the whole Benjamin Fulford report on YouTube is very interesting reading, and it goes on about them, arresting people in the Federal Reserve, and it's interesting that it's on the news tonight that the Federal Reserve, for the first time in 10 years, is raising the prime rate above zero. So they raised it to 3.5%. And this means that if your home is on a variable rate, it's going to go up. The cost of your mortgage, monthly mortgage, everything is going up. And I think it's kind of cool that somebody tricked the Fed into doing something this week that is so going to make so many people angry that they'll be more supportive of Canadians arresting these guys because of what they did yesterday.
Well, that's all part of the big plan, it seems. I mean, they're infighting, and their cohesion is falling apart, and so that just seems to be part of the crumbling of their superstructure.
Absolutely. Yeah. And of course, Donald Trump canceled his trip to Israel because he knows that the Israelites nuked America on 9/11, and so it's just getting very interesting, and Trump is still way in the lead, and just like Benjamin said, I mean, Jeb Bush is like nothing. I mean, he was just disgraceful and had nothing to say at the debate last night, and there was I don't know. The cabal seems to be fighting back. As we're pushing, they're fighting back. And, of course, there's these headlines. I mean, wow. So everything is going on. But I want to, I guess, interview Chris about those things later on. I will say that I was at a Keshe workshop here in Missouri. People had to drive a couple of hours to make a nice little group, but there's a lot of progress going on, and it is very interesting to connect into this plasma and to set your intentions. And he wants, Mr. Keshe wants us to start practicing setting our intentions. I mean, Cynthia does a wonderful job of modeling how we need to vision our wonderful future, just like Anastasia did in her books Out of Russia. But Mr. Keshe, he's got thousands of people watching his videos, and he's talking about, we need to set our intentions that our food is nutritious and slimming. When we consume it, we need to set our intentions that our body temperature can warm our blood, and that we can feel warm just because of our own body organism, connecting with the plasma that's in the atmosphere. That we don't have to have artificial heat like fireplaces and propane heaters and things like that. That we can set our intentions that we're comfortable, just like by walking around in our plasma-filled universe, and that's kind of getting us ready for when we have our Keshe Brave power boxes. We're ready to set the intentions and use things in our homes. And he wants us to use these boxes because he feels that most people won't be able to understand the power of our mind and our emotions to connect with the plasma. That we need to have these power boxes as a step to the end goal of what Cynthia and all of us talk about here, to manifest paradise on earth.
When it comes to a situation like I'm in, where I can't get the most nourishing foods that I'm used to, thinking about that way of actually changing and infusing the particles, the molecules of the food to upgrade them, mentally, emotionally, just what you were talking about the heat and that kind of thing. Because if for some reason we can't get the most nourishing nutrition, there has to be a way that we can transmute in some ways. We can just make it non-toxic to our cells. Does this make sense in light of what we were just talking about?
Absolutely.
Yeah, what
Very
you were just talking about. Yeah, because I'm in a situation where I'm being challenged to not have the optimum conditions, that I'm used to having. But, there's the way to make the best of it, turn it around and, be light for the situation. So.
Well, Sonny, as we're ending the Candy Jar segment of this part of the Diamond Network show, would you like to lead us, say the law of one for us, and let us ask that the angels of the 360 degrees come in, and our star brothers and sisters come in and galactivize with us, as Elizabeth says, and let us use this law of one for the medical situation and the political situation that's going on right now. Would you like to share that with us?
Yes, I sure would. Yes, I'd like to bring in the law of one to infuse all of these situations and create deeper harmony and deeper healing and oneness in all of those that are in the medical world, and may they be more enlightened, you might say, and be able to see the means of. Now there's noise in the room. I don't know how I can go on with this, but that was brief. Okay, so how does it sound to you folks out there? Does it sound
just fine?
Okay, then I'll go on.
You sound real good.
Good. I'll proceed then. We are all one. When one is harmed, all are harmed. When one is helped, all are helped. And I am one with all there is. Yeah. So therefore, I ask, in the name of who I am, that only that which serves the greater good of all concerned happen here and now and throughout all time and space. And so it is. Let it be. Blessed be.
Blessed be.
Blessed
Thank you so much, Sonny.
Sure.
Sonny. And now is our special guest speaker, Christopher. Are you there?
I should.
Yes, I am right here.
Great. Would you like to comment on anything you've heard so far?
Yes. What's interesting is I figured I would call out to a specific set of beings for this, the answers to this, and this was centering around this issue with the Canadians liberating the U.S., and I called out to Valiant Thor and Unya for this particular answer, and Unya, he's the Cyclops guy. He's the only one that showed up. He said Valiant Thor wasn't available tonight, but I asked him around the time you said the Israelis nuked the U.S., and he shook his head. No, they did not nuke the U.S. because there would be radiation, but they did use holograms to make it look as such. But holograms, he's telling me, can also be harmful. There's a certain type that can actually do damage. Let me see here. He went on to say...
Are we talking about 9/11?
Yes.
Okay.
Let me see. And also, there were other instances, too, that people didn't know about. Let me see. He went on to say, there is a revolution coming, dear one, so please stay out of the fighting. Do you promise me? Tell me, please. Yes, Unya, but I thought that there was not going to be a bloody revolution. He goes, let me see, I got to turn the page. Yes, of course, but there will still be pockets, if you will, of underground fighting. Do you understand what it is that I am getting at? Tell me, please. Yes, Unya, I do. Thank you for informing me of this. You are most welcome, dearest one. Valiant Thor will not be present this evening. Maybe later in the week, but not tonight. I will speak on your show here in a moment. Yeah, he was telling me he was going to speak. So I will see what else he has to say. And let me see. Yeah, I'm seeing an overview of the United States on the eastern seaboard stretching up into Canada, all the way over into Canada. And I'm seeing something here. There is someone crossing the border. I'm asking if I'm seeing this in real time or if this is in the future. Unya just told me it's future. And I'm seeing men, looks like soldiers. However, they are not visible to anyone. And I'm asking how this is possible. And Unya is telling me they have density displacement technology, he's calling it. And I'm asking what that is. He says density displacement technology makes it so beings that are not of a particular density can go into another density for brief periods, which would render them invisible to anyone within this density. So that means they could travel, I don't want to say interdimensionally. Let me see, I'll get some more information. Yes, I see them coming across the border, down a road. Even cars can pass through them. They can literally walk the distance they have to. They don't need to be in vehicles. Some of them are walking in formation. Others are in vehicles. I see trucks, but not military trucks. I'm seeing just average, like, construction equipment trucks. Those are the people that could not do this or use this interdensity technology. So they disguised what they have as like construction vehicles, buses, trains. Let me see, cars.
And these are the ones coming in from Canada in the future to help liberate New York?
Yes.
And the Federal Reserve System and arrest
yes.
criminals?
And Washington, yes. These are resistance fighters, it looks like. I'm going to look a little closer just to be certain and make sure they're not actually the bad guys. Let me see. I'm going to look at their uniforms. And I'm looking for specific things. I am seeing their uniforms. I'm trying to see through their distortion. Okay, I can see more of the uniforms. And it looks like they are not the good guys because I'm seeing the mark of the swastika on the uniform. I'm going to ask Unya who these are, if they actually are Cabal. He says, yes, but be patient, I will explain. And I will, he's telling me they are indeed, as you say, Nazis. However, these particular rogues, and he's putting that in quotes, are not as they seem. They are acting for what their bosses or handlers, quote unquote, think on their behalf, but they are actually in disguise. Let me see. Yeah, they are wearing the uniforms of the bad guys and even marching alongside of them, but they are not bad. it'll be difficult to tell because all sides will be wearing the same uniform. So let me see here. I'll get some more information. Okay, I am seeing this partially visible army kind of phasing in and out. If anybody ever saw them, they would seem like ghosts. And it
so this
seems
is going to be in the future. Do we know anything about it? When in the future?
I'm seeing 2016. I'm seeing the number 16.
Canada.
Yes.
Everybody in the same uniform. Some good, some bad.
Yes, they're marching with
some
bad
people are just joining the call at this point. Yes, go ahead.
Okay, yes. They're marching beside bad ones because I believe the bad guys were planning on creating martial law. They were going to just materialize and create martial law, but the good guys won't allow that.
Chris?
Yes.
Yeah, I was going to come in before our fellow ET brother said it, but I second that because I was going to say they're in disguise too. So thank you, brother.
Let me see. Yeah, I'm still continuing to see them march, and it looks like some are cutting off away from the marching individuals, and they are hanging out in wooded areas, it looks like, along the way. And let me see, it looks like another little nugget of information that Unya is giving me. He's saying an interesting point of information along the ghostly lines. Some instances of paranormal activity are attributed to these marching soldiers because of this interdensity technology. Let me see. Some people have detected them with equipment and passed them off as apparitions. This has gone on longer than anyone thinks. Let me see. I'm going to get some more information. I'm watching a few of these other guys back up into the trees, and they're going off into some wooded areas. And I'm following the ones that are breaking off from the herd here, and they are going into the woods, and they're meeting up with other people in the woods, and they're watching some other soldiers march on by. And there's something else going on here. There is another person trying to get my attention here. Just the image shifted and I see a hand waving in front of my third eye here. And it's somebody new. Let me see. This person, I'm trying to see what they look like. And they are also a cyclops like Unya. Because Unya is to my left at the moment, or his bilocated self, is to my left. And I see another cyclops, and his image is distorted because he doesn't want me to know where he is. I'm asking if he's Unya's friend, and he's saying yes. And I'm seeing what his name is. Oh, he's not giving his name. Okay, that was a quick response. I didn't even get the words out of my mouth before you said no. He is looking at me.
That tells you they're all listening. This guy's listened to the Diamonds Network before. He knows the routine. I love you.
Yes. He's shaking his head. They're all there's the Unya shaking their head that they are actively listening to this since it is now become an integral part of the process.
It's wonderful that we could help in this way.
Yes, yeah, and this one's shaking his head, and he's pointing to things. He's not actually telepathically speaking. Unya is saying, for his own safety, he's not actually using his telepathy. He's just kind of pantomiming things here, or charading things here. Let me see. And he's pointing to the soldiers, and he is walking behind them. Oh, there is something very large marching with these soldiers. Unya's saying, and this other Cyclops is saying, it's a piece of technology. It is large, I would say the size of a fairly good height pine tree. Let me see. It has legs and arms. It looks almost like what is known as a mech. A mech, briefly described, is like a suit that a soldier could climb in. There were rumors that the Nazis were building technology like this. They've integrated it into fictional stories and into, video games and such. But there were actual rumors floating around that the Nazis had technology like this. So let me see. I'm seeing one of these, and there are people within these. There is. Let me see. I'm seeing another one. 1, 2, 3, 4. Looks like there's at least 4 or 5 of these large mechs. They kind of take the shape of a man, but only they're large and bulky, and they have almost like wings on the side. It looks like they can take the form of a helicopter if they wanted to. Let me see here. Like they could land and then turn there. Almost it reminds me of Transformers. Let me see. And Unya's saying he thought I would like that one. And so the other Cyclops, he's given the thumbs up. And I said, are these in the hands of the good guys now? And he says, not all of them. Let me look here. Yeah, these things, they would be very difficult to stop anyone inside of one of these.
What are they used for? On the bad side, what are they used for?
Destroying.
Should we pray for those, Candy? Or it's up to you.
Let me see.
Chris, do we need a prayer right now, or shall we wait a little bit?
Give me a minute, and I'll look through the rest of this and see what else pops up. Because then we can, if we have to add more, we can add more. Let me see. I'm being told that they have these particular mechs in storage at the moment, in the present day. And they're making great emphasis. Unya and this other Cyclops are emphasizing greatly on this particular one piece of technology, that it is probably one of the worst things in their arsenal. So let me see. I was not shown this before because I'm asking why I was not shown this before. They said for our own safety. However, to all listening, this is Unya talking, to all people listening, we wish nothing but for your safety of not only peace of mind, but for your physicalities. We will point out 2 other things that we wish to have looked at and informed upon. We are now pointing out, let me look, they're pointing at something inside of a truck. Let me see.
And I wondered if these problems with the nuclear power plants and like the one in New York shut down this week, if this is connected at all.
I'll ask him. Yeah, he's shaking his head yes, and so is the other guy. This is exactly, you were intuitive, Candy, on this, because this is exactly what he was going to get at. In this truck, there is a device sitting inside of this truck that, I see what this is. This is tied into making the soldiers invisible, this inner density technology. It's inside. They can't stray too far from it, or they become visible. And let me see. One is a receiver, and the other is a transmitter. They are using this to be able to pass through walls. They could literally pass through any building, anywhere with this, and this is the most dangerous thing in their arsenal at the moment. Let me see here.
What is the name?
There's a commercial on television right now demonstrating this kind of technology.
Oh, there is? Huh. Okay, I did not know that. Okay.
And ask the name so when we pray, we can pray for the name of the weapon. Okay. He says this particular device, they have their own name for it, but he is calling it
Let me see. He's using some other language. Give me a second. It's trans-density. He's using some other words. Give me a second. Trans-density. There's a B word in here. I'm having a hard time hearing him. Okay. Trans-density he's saying by location technology. I'm asking him why by location. He says, as with the other technologies that can go interdensity, this can bilocate and act as if it is in one place, but it is in another. Let me see here. The true piece of technology is in this truck. If resistance fighters would try to go look for it, it would look like it was somewhere else. So let me see if humans would look at it. Let me see here. It's like a perception filter of some sort.
So it's called tri-density.
Trans-density bilocation technology.
And I just want to tell, me and Candy had a little discussion earlier today, and we just talked about a prayer request we could ask the ETs, and they must have heard our conversation, Candy, because we didn't even have to ask the question.
Okay. Absolutely, Liz.
And I'm seeing what they did with this. What you said in New York. Yes, they passed through a wall, and their people could place something inside of this nuclear facility to make it appear unstable, so that it would scare the people in there, and therefore they can also distract the people while they march their troops somewhere else. Let me see here. It's there's some other problem being brought up with this exact piece of technology. It's causing what we humans call computer glitches across the eastern seaboard, across part of the middle of the country, and I'm seeing a line of where this is. There's like this field that I'm looking at. I'm asking if this is present day or future. He says a little of both because they haven't set up all these devices yet. Let me see. There's like this shield that's up. It's almost luminescent, dark blue, oily blue. I want to call it oily blue. This is very strange looking to me. The energy from this is very weird. I can see it even though it's a future timeline, but I can still feel it. And it gives off a smell too. Let me see. He's saying describe it, so he's asking me to describe the smell it gives off. That way, people without the sight could know it's around. So I'm going to see if I can describe this. My bilocated self is able to smell this. It smells very much like I want to say kerosene and jet fuel, and some other like almost a mixture of petroleum in there. But there's also something else that's unfamiliar. There is. Yeah, this other scent is unfamiliar.
So many train crashes and semi crashes and problems. They mentioned that the driver didn't survive this accident yesterday, and I don't know. None of my ABC, NBC television stations would come in tonight. There's glitches in emails I noticed, and different things, and of course the weather is so strange.
Mm-hmm. Yes. He's saying this is being caused by this strange field. Electronics will mess up. This will cause like some of the car electrical components to seize, and then eventually, of course, somebody's engine would seize or somebody's brakes would initiate without them wanting it to. And what else here? Yes, and even though elements of HARP are disabled, this could mess with the weather as well. I'm seeing it seems weaker. This field seems very weak, and it almost seems turbulent, like they couldn't quite get the entire thing up. and running. This seems almost like a sloppily done desperation move on their part. Like not very efficient. Normally they had like almost like Roman quality efficiency, but this is just very, very hastily done. And I'm beginning to think it's on purpose so people notice things more. Let me look here. Yeah, I'm seeing. Yeah, this field's beginning to get me to ache a little bit here. I'm gonna back away from it. And let me see who else is here. There's another being watching us. Who is this? I am seeing what looks like to be a gray looking at me right now. So I flash the law of one at him, and he is not budging. So I'm going to go under the assumption that he is good. So I'm going to ask him what is wrong with this picture. And he says, he's saying this is purposefully done. His own people, like we've learned in other calls, his own people are turning on the bad guys. Some of them, not all of them. And
wonderful. The Greys are turning on the bad guys now. The Greys have stopped being the bad guys.
Not all of them, just some of them, but they are. This one is telling me he's pointing to something down on the ground. Okay, and he is pointing to some kind of antenna, and he's showing me. Oh, I see what he's showing me. He says, "We wish for you to see this. We are making up for what we have done." This he's showing me a common, not an antenna. I have one of these outside of my apartment building here. It
Chris?
is a
Can you use your new technology you got just to cover the room before we? Because we're praying for something really good tonight. You know the technology they gave to you the other day.
Yes. I automatically put that up over them and over us. So that's automatically integrated into the call.
Oh, cool. Thank you.
And yeah, Unya is actually impressed with this. He actually is liking this, and he's making a comment. He goes, "I bet the Argothans gave you this."
Yeah, just make a minute or two what you got on Monday, just so this call knows the people.
Okay, a brief rundown on the Monday night call. I bilocated to the Argothan underground or their network, and spoke to a couple of their leaders, and one of the guards, who was an Anunnakam warrior, which is also known as Sasquatch, handed me a piece of their technology to use within my bilocated self. And it's a sphere that could make it so that I could isolate my frequency and have it be unseen. And that applies to anybody on the call as well. So,
wonderful. You mean any of us can use this sphere? The sphere?
Yes.
And Chris,
we use it when we're being empathic and reaching out, and the enemy can't tell that our energy is there.
Well,
yes, they can't see you. It's a form of camouflage.
Yeah, and it's not no fear. Nobody get any fear. We're not no danger. But right now, I just intuition. The reason they gave you that technology is they see what we're doing. All the Galactics, they see what we're doing, and now they're going to up the ante because they're going to come to us for the law one, and we need a little of nobody seeing us, so we have maximum efficiency, minimum effort. So I'm so honored tonight. I am so honored with the ET brothers and sisters. Thank you for trusting us. Thank you.
Amen to that. And was there a particular name for this technology that all of us in the Rainbow Council and the Candy Shop fans can use when we're helping mankind? Is there a name for this weapon?
Let me see. It doesn't look like Unya or them have any name for it. They just let me see what we could nickname it something. Let me see. Just call it the protection sphere. Let me see. Yeah, they said that that's sufficient. And just visualize it looks like a miniature planet. That it looks like a marble actually. It looks about a miniature planet with clouds and everything. And it has the ability to shield you from anything from above, below, and any density.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Well, thanks, Sasquatch, for sharing this technology with us.
Mm-hmm. You can thank the Anunnaki for inventing it. So that's who came up with that. So let me see here. Even Unya's people, I don't think, completely know how to recreate it.
And these are the Sasquatch that live under the surface of the earth mostly, and in a slightly different density.
Not all of them live in a different density. Some of them are just underground, but they can go to different densities. Some are different densities. I've noticed that some are anywhere between 4th and 9th densities, but not all of them are that way. Let's see here.
Okay.
And I'm going to see what. Okay, now I'm going to protect myself with. We're protecting ourselves with those spheres. I put it above my head and kind of rain it down over the top. And he says, good. And they're all doing it, it looks like. I gave them a bilocated copy of this. And for them, it's just as solid as an object is for us. So,
right. Should we do our prayer now for these situations that we've discussed?
Yes, and he says that will help because some of the things I am seeing are of the future and some are of our current time continuum, so that would be good.
Yes, and I want to, protect Benjamin Fulford and his sources and strengthen the White Dragon Society to do the right thing. And Elizabeth, would you like to lead us in this prayer, this Law of One?
Okay, we call in the divine flame of living love. We call in collective consciousness. That's all of us and everything. So we thank you all for coming. We call in all of those technologies with the soldiers. The name of it again, Chris?
Let me see. The technology is trans-density bilocation technology. I believe they said.
We call in all of those, the equipment and everything involved in it, every person involved in it, things unknown or known, things not understood or things understood or not understood regarding these technologies. And we just say that we are all one, and when one is harmed, all are harmed. When one is helped, all are helped. So therefore, in the name of who I am and we are, and I am one with all that there is, so I ask that only the highest good of all concerned happen with these, what are they, Chris?
Trans-density bilocation technology. With
these, and we also ask for Benjamin Fulford and all what Candy said, too. Thank you. Thank you that this is done, and so be it. So it is.
With the highest good of all concerned. Amen.
Yes, and what I'm seeing now is it looks like the scene has changed and Bugnacia stepped in front of me. Let me see here. I'm seeing what he's doing. He's waving his fingers in front of me. Let me see. And I'm seeing why he's so concerned here. We have this protection and everything, and he's saying, "Dear ones, heed caution within this time, since your thoughts are things of great quality and quantity. Your thoughts manifest most perfectly in the coming of 5D. So, to see this future timeline, do not see it. Know that it is but a shimmer or an illusion on the ripples of a pond. Do not see it as living history, as you say. See it as being a foretelling, a premonition. a falsehood or a fictional story, as you would say. So in creating something new. However, there are some truths still abundant within these images. There are soldiers still going to march on Washington. However, the good guys, as you say, will not allow bloodshed to befall anyone. This prayer or law, as you say, of one has just thusly prevented deaths of that sort. However, there are still going to be people marching on Washington, people that in some respects do hold these ideals dear, but they still wish to harm those cabal individuals because of what they have done to everyone else. But we have explained to them that violence in that respect is not permissible, so they will be carrying what you saw before. However, they will be armored more and armed less, meaning armor as in protection more and armed less as in guns. So this is not necessary if you are protected well, but action is still required. This is what I came to say. Thank you.
Wonderful. And we just do want to forgive the cabal. I mean, the past is the past. What matters is now and in the future. And we just ask cabal members have a sense of regrets and wanting to make amends and doing the right thing. And they can wake up from any moment and start doing the right thing and to ask for help for what the right thing is. We can tell that the cabal had a lot of evil plans being made, and you can Benjamin Fulford talked about how the economy newspaper, The Economist, is a mouthpiece for the cabal, and how the cover of it was quite intricate for January 1st, 2015, and what it was predicting would happen over the year, and how Benjamin has seen the cover already for next January and this next month, and what the cabal had hoped to happen. And we know that the cabal had all these plans with like they produced some time ago this HBO show that started last night, just this horrible show about the Arthur C. Clarke's book Childhood's End, where yes, the ships came in his 1950s short science fiction book, and they came to help us, but then they tried to pretend like they were actually evil ET lords. And so here they've manufactured and they're putting out 3-part series on HBO to get people scared of and not wanting first contact. And then we have this movie that's being advertised all the time, Independence Day. The return, the sequel to the Independence Day, and I didn't remember or realize that Will Smith starred in Independence Day in July of 1996, and so there was really a horrible ET war going on with the Archons in 1996, and here the cabal had all this thing planned, how they were going to cement, their grand plan, and they're having this movie come out again this summer, and maybe we can stop the release of that movie. But I don't know.
Candy?
All these things are happening. Chris, what would you like to say about all this mess that the cabal is trying to brainwash the people?
Candy, really, this is important. I just want to expand the Law of One prayer that we prayed to all the men and women that Bugnoxy was talking about that will march in Washington, D.C., and I want to expand the...
Yes? Elizabeth?
Looks like she got cut off. Okay. Let me see.
Your comments about this propaganda, Chris.
Well, so this is how I feel. You know, I actually enjoyed the first Independence Day movie, even though there might be hidden things in there. Of course, you know, there's hidden things in a lot of shows, a lot of movies. I actually enjoyed it. I wouldn't mind going to see the second one. I just acknowledge, of course, there's hidden things in there, but I take it sometimes for what it is. It's an entertaining movie as well. Or there's TV shows out there. They're like with Childhood's End. I haven't read the book or I haven't seen anything of it. I know what it's about, though. Granted, it only spreads fear if you allow it to. This is what, my guides have told me about this. Things only spread fear if you acknowledge things as fear and not just plain entertainment. If you acknowledge it for something, say you enjoy watching a movie, enjoy it. Don't be analyzing the fear that anybody is ever trying to put out, if they are even doing it at all, in that thing. Like the cabal will want people to think that they spread all this junk throughout movies and TV, which they have. I'm acknowledging that, but the idea is to not necessarily ignore it. That's not what I'm saying. Just do not fear it. Like if you want to watch, say, The Walking Dead, I've watched that show, and I know that has some of the highest concentrations of these symbols that float through the video stream. I've still watched the show. My friends and I still enjoy the show. And we enjoy movies, just like my friends and I went to go see the movie Krampus not that long ago. Now, you want to talk about something that was integrated in that stuff that we've talked about. At the end of that movie, clearly there was a Draco sacrificial ceremony being presented at the end of the movie. Only people in the know would have known this. And I told my friends that were at the movie, I said, this is exactly what this is. And they're like, no, really? And I said, yeah, this is, I even channeled something similar to the ending to that movie. If nobody's seen it, it was cheesy as all get out, but I got, my friends took me to this for, just for a night out. And I saw the ending to that and went, oh my God, that was integrated in there. But did I acknowledge that it made me afraid of what was around me? No. It was just put out there, of course, it had the messages in it, but it was also just strictly entertainment. And that's kind of how I have to view things. I don't acknowledge the fear porn that's put in things.
Millennials, they think of this stuff as pure entertainment, whereas in early generations, we looked closely at the ET type movies to gain clues for reality, but the younger generation is just and it's a good thing that they're just looking at it as entertainment. Well,
Candy,
yes,
this is Mare, and
yes.
I wondered if could I say the law of one again and include all the folks that Elizabeth wanted to include again and include the movie industry and just do it quickly again?
Yes, and I just apparently everybody knows that there was an explosion 2 weeks ago at CERN, and it is completely permanently shut down, and that the public knows what we, knows what we knew weeks ago. Chris, isn't it a cause for jubilation that CERN is completely shut down now?
Yes, and I know exactly who did it, too, and they recently contacted me and my mother again in a channeling in fact, last night, and I got a better look at this particular species, the ones that they nicknamed themselves the underlings, and they gave me their actual species name, or at least a close pronunciation of it, and they're called the Romulans. And they said they're an interdimensional species that just got tired of the cabal, hurting their people and harassing their people. And when we pointed out where these spots were on the globe, because when they came into this density, they were kind of discombobulated. They didn't know exactly where to go, and I showed them a map of the world and said, "There's all the cabal facilities. Have fun." And
we talked about the 12 cities on our call.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yes, and and then they went to CERN, and then I heard James Gilliland talk about on a video about a being that appeared inside CERN shortly before it blew up, and I'm thinking, that's one of the Romulans.
Now say their name again.
Romlan, Romlon, Romlan.
Right. And is there anything we can do to help with some more of the 25 quarks? I know we helped nullify 5 of them, and so there was 20 left. Can we use this law of one prayer that Murr is going to give for a couple more of the quarks?
From my knowledge, some more have been dealt with. I saw at least 3 or 4 more go down recently. So, the law of one won't work on the quarks directly, but it'll work on any forces around them. So anybody that can disable them will come close. So that prayers are answered in a multitude of ways.
We prayed for the quarks, and they're all at the highest good of all concern, because there was a being that came in that was a loophole into all the quarks. So they're all set at the highest good of all concern. That doesn't mean they're going to come down today or tomorrow. It'll come down at the highest good of all concern for human beings, consciousness expanding. I just wanted to put that out. So
absolutely. Well, Murr wanted to say the law of one again, and I think that's absolutely appropriate. As we're coming close to December 21st, there's a lot going on, and we need to throw as much light as we can. Murr, go ahead.
Okay, thank you. I call in the living flame of divine love to be with us now, and I call in universal consciousness to be with us now.
Take it off speakerphone, please.
Oh, sorry. Okay, let me get it off speaker. I am off speaker. I'm not on speaker. And we call in the beings of the galactic beings that are coming in to work with us. We thank you so much for all of your help, and we love you. And we speak to those that are still causing harm. We love you also, and we thank you, because we all have learned so much. And we'd like to call in all weaponry of any kind, all of these new weapons, and all soldiers of any kind marching anywhere in the future, in the current time, in the past. We thank you for who you are and all you've done, because we've learned so much. And we want to thank all communications of any kind, especially those creating movies and storylines and symbolism and visual input of any kind, auditory input of any kind, all communicating of any kind from one to another. We are asking for the highest good, and we are thanking all communications in the past, present, and future. And we are thanking all life forms, beings of the air, of the fire, of the earth, and of the water, and of the ether. And all those known and unknown, seen and unseen, understood and not understood. And we thank you all, because we are all one. And when one is harmed, all are harmed. And when one is helped, all are helped. Therefore, in the name of who I am, and I am one with all there is, I ask that only the highest good of all concerned happen. And I give thanks that this is done. So be it, and so it is, with maximum efficiency, minimum effort, and the highest good of all the children.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you. Well, this has just been a great show, and I'm the last 2 or 3 weeks, as you've been talking about this incredible idea, it's very hard for some of your listeners, for me, to get my mind wrapped around it. That for example, that World War II wasn't 60 years ago, but it was like 350 years ago, and that we've had hundreds of years of missing time. Everybody on the planet. Can you elaborate or explain a little bit more to us to understand these ideas?
Yes, this is, I mean, you know, I was just as shocked as you guys are when I saw this. I didn't realize the extent of what had actually taken place. And when I started looking into this a little more, when I started looking into my alien abduction memories just a little more, my guide Simeon, who is actually here with me at the moment, when you asked me this question, he'll probably want to talk about it too, but I'll go before him. What I learned from this, when I look at people's timelines now, when I do reads, I see these blurred spaces in between, almost like a censoring, like you'd see on TV, you know, if somebody was censored. And I looked into this a little further, and I also noticed it's within our genes as well. And that means there were 2 different races involved in this. I could see the Greys doing, which was the memory, and I could see the Anunnakis doing, which was the genes. Now, the gene one was not bad. The memory one, on the other hand, was. And what happened was, when I started looking into the alien abduction memories, I always wondered why there seemed to be a greater expanse of time. And this is also counting other densities in there as well, because I know some other densities deal differently in time. But this seemed to be a little more direct. I noticed there was a greater expanse of time, greater than I have ever lived. And I started, you know, poking and prodding at this, and I was extremely curious about this. And I noticed that when I added up the displaced amount of time wedged into the moments of normal, what we would consider a normal life, wedged into certain edited points, like if you're editing a movie or TV show or a video for YouTube or what have you, when I started inserting these blurred time frames back within those edit points, I noticed that the timeline, or what would be a time code, was much greater. And when I added all of these up, you know, it was just a rough estimate. My true age was somewhere around 237 years old when I added the whole thing up. And I asked my guides, I said, how accurate is this? And they said, I was dead on the mark. Give or take a couple of years in there. You know, I was using my intuition versus just regular math skills. But when I started noticing this in other people, I could tell when they were abducted. But then I noticed the same background timeline, as I called it, where it was just sitting right directly behind the normal edit, quote unquote, of a person's life. And I was able to find in people the exact edit point, like if there was something stressful happening in their life at that time, I always chose that just out of intuition's sake. I checked that, and I was able to see that there was one edit crammed against another edit. And I was able to see what was beneath that, and to where everything at first kind of just slowed down like I was reviewing it. And it was like it was just really, really slow. And then it went into real time, and I was able to see exactly where someone's memories cut from one thing to another thing. And when it did, it all made sense why certain events happened, why certain things seemed to be out of continuity in someone's life. It wasn't all, how can I say it? This is really difficult to translate, but it's not all, how can I put, divine intervention. Of course, there's divine intervention out there. But I'll put this in layman. Say you're standing on a street and you're crossing through a crosswalk, and then mysteriously you're across the street, and you have no idea how you got there. But yet everybody else is moving around as if their day is going by, not much has changed. And then then say all of those people found out that those few moments from point A to point B, that there was at least maybe a 3, 4, 5 year time span in between point A and point B, but yet everyone was moved and everyone was placed back at the moments they were, but there was a slight discontinuity to where that one person was put at point A to point B, and it was not that person was not put back exactly where they were.
A film was spliced in, yeah.
Yes, exactly,
so,
exactly.
Like maybe 1951 for everybody on the planet was actually, there was a 5-year gap for everybody.
Yes, and I was just using that as an example, but I know now from between now and say the 90s, there was at least a 100-year gap there. So between, say, now since this is 2015 and 1995, let's say, there was a far greater time gap, at least 100 years. I might be off by a little bit. It's hard to say. It's hard to judge with this.
You can tell. I mean, I supposedly was born, 4 years after the war ended, World War II, and you can just tell the vast differences in the clothes and the technology. I mean, everything has happened so fast, and the younger generation, they have no experience of these older ones that they can remember, and it's just, I mean, there was like that book Future Shock, and it's almost trying to get us used to the fact that, hey, we're jumping forward in a whole lot of different ways, and and it's much more than what any of us ever imagined. From what you're saying, I mean, this is unbelievable. You're saying that in the last 20 years, it's really been 120 years. It's
been somewhere around close to 120 years, yes. And I was just as shocked as you are. I'm not usually shocked by too many things. This was one of them. When I came across this, I didn't realize that much time had passed. I figured when people had missing time, it was maybe 45 minutes to an hour tops, or maybe even 2 or 3 hours. But years and decades going by, and then they're placed back at that particular time. Like I'm trying to think of another example. When people say they've been gone for, say, 20 years, let's say, in the secret space program, and they're gone for 20 years, but yet they're put right back here, and they've been gone 10 minutes. When they say they've gone for their 20 and out, they've more than likely been gone the true 20 years, and they've been put back.
Listeners, we're talking about people like Randy Kramer. You might want to Google some of Randy Kramer's and David and Corey Goody's YouTube videos. Yeah.
So can I ask one question on that line?
Mm-hmm.
What has anybody ever said to you, or what's your intuition? Why the heck did they do that to us? That confuses us even more. Why? Why did they cut time out, and so we can't remember? Now, I know in the Bible, like in the Old Testament, people live to 900 years or whatever, and then you go down through the ages, they live less time. But maybe we really had, I don't know. Why did they do that?
Have we all been living several hundreds of years, and just Methuselah living 1,000 years was unusual, but we are all along have been living several hundreds of years?
Yes, not necessarily as long as, say, the Anunnaki. But I had this explained to me not too long ago. I was doing an interview for someone, and this subject actually came up. I noticed in this person's genetic history there were these same exact gaps, like in the memory. And I was wondering what these little sensor points were. When I say sensor points, I mean it's like blocked area. And he said he had an ancestor, he had the same sight I do. He said he had an ancestor he could not see in his own personal genetic memory when he scanned through it, that he wanted me to look. And I was like, all right, I will look. Well, I noticed there was one ancestor at the top and not two. And I'm thinking, okay, this is very weird. And I looked in this little censored point, and I accessed this, and all of a sudden, I was jumped back a very long amount of time, and I encountered a spaceship with a group of Anunnaki on board. And there was an Anunnaki by the name of Lomos who was standing there. He was a scientist, and he was showing that people were birthing all manner of weird-looking creatures, and it was a genetic experiment to find the right variation eventually when they were helping to create humanity. Well, long story short, I asked him, said, what are these gaps in this genetic memory? And he says that was intentional. Those unfold over time. And he says humans actually are living longer than they realize, and this being confirmed what I had found with the memory gaps. He says humans are living not nearly as long as his people, but longer than they realize because their memories had been tampered with.
Okay, so that tells me the Bible lied. What's in the Bible is a lie to us just to make us think that we lost some age, but in fact they've been making us lose time on purpose, so that's why they put that in the Bible, to cover themselves up.
Yes.
Oh, my God.
The Anunnaki did not do bad in this instance. What they did was for the higher good by making it so that our genes unfolded a certain change over time. It was the Cabal that stole that knowledge from us.
No wonder people are getting grayer, younger. People are getting grayer maybe because they are older than they think they are.
Yes, I got the goosebumps.
Like President Obama, all our presidents get so gray while they're president. Maybe they've been president for a whole lot longer than 4 years.
Oh yes, I would not doubt it. It's really hard to say that whether it's just pockets of people or if it's the entire populace. In order to pull this off properly, it would have to be the entire populace. But I do know from looking at some of these Cabal individuals, there are people that are outside of this illusion, as the Pleiadians would call it. This is why they call this the Great Illusion. And they would never tell me why. And I even asked the Pleiadian collective, I said, why did you not reveal this to me sooner? And they said, because your brain could not have handled it, even as far along as I was. They were waiting till I stumbled across it and then would question about it. They were waiting for me to ask. They were waiting for me to become free of it. And I was thankful that they did not tell me, because their words would have actually harmed me, they said, and the energy would have harmed me at the time if they had told me. But since I discovered it on my own, it was actually more beneficial. But I said, well, what about everyone else? And they said,
that was my next question.
and I said, what about everyone else? And he goes, well, you have a voice. Tell everyone else. And
and I think you kind of channeled the shock through you, and then you gave it to us, and that helped us, because it was kind of a shock when we heard it, but then you think about it.
Were we being abducted? Were we on spaceships? What were we doing this 100 years that we can't remember?
We had lives with people. I know in instances in alien abduction, people had, reptilian mates. I run across that quite a bit. They had lives with other people, husbands, wives, girlfriends, boyfriends that we have no knowledge of now. Children we probably have no knowledge of now. Let me see, traveling in the system, either working for the Cabal, against the Cabal. I noticed there's a common situation that seems to pop up. If anybody has a similar one pop up, feel free to email me. In my own personal timeline, there was a cabin in the woods that popped up near a stream, and this was, I don't know what country this was in, I don't know what continent this was on. It was a cabin in the woods that had people hiding within it, and there were people in Nazi uniforms telling them that there were enemies attacking the mainland, and that those enemies, that were there were these horrible, horrible people, and in fact, we were actually on the side of the bad guys. They were using propaganda against us, like what Hitler did to his own people in World War II. They were saying, "Oh, there's enemies at the gates. These people are horrible. They're inferior." And this is exactly what happened with these aliens. I looked up in the sky and I could see these spherical ships flying around. I could see these larger vessels flying around. Like there was smaller eye-looking ones flying around, and these Nazis were telling these people huddled in these cabins that these were the enemy that we had to hide from, and that was part of the memories I uncovered.
Yeah, and that was a lie. I think they were lying, these Nazis.
Oh, yeah.
Because I wanted to. Andrew Barthes talks about in the age, the Dark Ages. You know, like Mona Lisa. What are those? The Middle East age times. What is that called?
The Mona Lisa. That would be Renaissance. Yes.
The Renaissance age. In the Renaissance age, there was ships flying all over the sky. It was a normal day thing. So they cut that time out of it.
Yes.
Nobody talks about that in the history books.
Yeah, it's kind of ignored. I've noticed it's only just now starting to be touched on. But yeah, I thought that was very interesting. Of course, you know, I try to step back from. I tried not to have my own emotion in it. I tried to logically go through this, but I could literally feel the emotion from that time frame. And I know there was more than one of these cabins that were in the woods. They were kind of sporadically spread out all over the place. And even when I was younger, I was having dreams about being in a cabin with a bunch of people and a couple of soldiers, and I didn't know what it was. And apparently I had been there for quite a while, a lot longer than I knew. And I just remember feeling a whole range of emotions. I remembered even having relationships with people that I was only remembering half of a memory of. And it was disheartening when I found this, but you know, with everything I find, I adapt to it fairly quickly. You know, like I said, it was you know, my guides were having to kind of pat me on the back, saying they were almost wishing like that I hadn't found it right now, because it was upsetting me a little bit. But they were almost thankful in another breath that I had. And let me see here. I know Simeon is right here next to me. Let me see if he wants to come through. Okay, yeah, he wants to come through. He's
Simeon. Welcome to the Candy Shop Show.
He wants to point something else about the. Okay, he wants to talk through me. To all who are now listening, please do not fear what you do not understand. My name is Simeon, and I am of the Ra Collective and of the Elohim Council of Light. I am an emissary of the one unified people, and I wish to say that we have seen these alterations. We have seen these so-called enemies. We have seen the horrors that you have not remembered. We have seen the praises you have been given. We have seen the failures along with the triumphs that you do not remember. We see all of this, and we remember. We not only cry tears of sadness, but we cry tears of joy as well, because once the shackles are gone, you will remember everything, but not immediately. Your brains would not handle it. We wish you to remember, we wish you to be free, but your own shackles have to be cast off as a part of free will. We cannot interfere with this. I and the other Elohim Council wish to extend our thank you to people like all of you and to the listeners of this. We wish to extend also that we do not wish to rule you as some people wish. We will not rule you. We will not tell you what to do. We will help you and guide you, but we will give you all of the answers that you seek. This is not arrogance. This is not maliciousness. This is our form of teaching. If you wish, We will guide you through this as equals. We are not gods. We are not above you, even though once we thought we were in the ancient past. That was our mistake, and we wish to extend our apologies for this. We do not wish you to worship us or glorify us in any way. We are men, we are women, we have shed the same blood as you, we have given our blood to you. We do not wish for us to be seen as anything but equals. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. There's freedom, there's relief, but there's a lot of responsibility on our shoulders.
Mm-hmm. Oh yes, yeah. He's pretty strong when he comes through. He's pretty direct when he comes through. He's very happy that we've all reached this point, this pinnacle. But I sensed some trepidation from him and the Elohim Council that it's like we're standing on a cliff's edge or on a knife's edge, and that we have to kind of tiptoe a little while. Not necessarily walk on eggshells, but tiptoe into certain realms of thought and into different realms of being. And they know this is a turning point for us. When we get rid of the cabal, we'll have a whole new range of things, of options to consider.
And Mr. Keshe is trying to inspire the thousands that are following him to grasp this Tesla technology and beyond. Would any of the beings want to say anything about Mr. Keshe's work at this point?
Okay, let me see. Oh,
yeah,
all right.
Any ones that have been observing the whole process, what do they think about it? Yeah.
Yes, I had someone, an interviewer, ask me this exact same thing, and I answered it then, but I will bring it through again now. And it looks like the Pleiadian Collective is going to answer this one. There is a triumvirate here of Pleiadians. There is Christos, Orton, and Hoag. And Christos is stepping forward. He's the scientific geek, if you will, of the three, and he is coming into me, and he let me see if this is. Yep, this is him, and he is wanting to talk now. He's saying, "Greetings, everyone here. My name, is Christos, and I am of the Pleiadian Collective Consciousness. I am aboard the observational vessel in orbit around your planet. I wish to state briefly that this Keshe device is legit. However, we did not give all the necessary materials to complete this task to Tehran Keshe. Reason being is, as what Simeon just stated, we cannot give you everything. A kind and generous species once gave us this chance. In our ancient history, we were warlike, like yourselves. We did not know the proper way. There was a kind and generous man who taught me and my species when he showed. This species has not been known to you as such yet in your history at all. They have remained in the deepest depths of space, watching and waiting for your emergence and ours. We are now paying it forward, as you would say, by not including certain key components in your technological advances so that you may learn by teaching and vice versa. We are still learning, as you say. Even when we show up and show our faces completely to humanity, we will not always say everything that you wish us to. This is not out of arrogance or maliciousness, as the others have said. This is our way of teaching, as we have been taught thusly. And so, I will say only this. In this time of awakening with the new technologies and sciences, I am at your disposal, but only so far as to not enable you. It would be as if you were in a school, in a hands-on classroom, as you say, and the teacher came up and told you every single detail. They want you to learn while you build the future, as you would say. This Keshe device is missing 3 key components. This is why it is not completely perfected. We did not tell him everything. He is learning as he goes. So therefore, when he supplies these devices, he is not, as the Cabal say, a charlatan or a swindler. He is doing as his heart desires and as we have asked of humanity when we give such technologies. There are going to be 4 main advancements in the next decade alone, as you say, of different technological advancements, one of which will be this power technology. Another one will be using what you consider to be a child's toy. It is the plasma ball that you right now have to plug into the wall, and you see a burning ball of plasma as a fun way to teach the sciences to children. This is a new power source in your midst. I will go into it no further. Suffice it to say, this is a starting point for humanity. Thank you.
Thank you. Is it safe to proceed, though, with what Mr. Keshe has taught us?
Yes, I believe it is. Other people will figure things out as they go along. People that tinker with it will figure out things as they go along, and they will advance. And they may even do some things the Pleiadians may want to trade for in the future. And I've been told this by Christos and his friends several times, that we will come up with things that they never thought of, and that they will come back and say, we want that. Well, we would like to study that.
One example is that at the beginning, October 16th, Mr. Keshe thought that the Tesla coils needed to be made in the ratio of 2 to 1. But now he understands, yes, 2 to 1, but to the power of 9. And that's what his fans came back to him and explained. No, it's got to be using the number 9, and so that's exciting for a lot of people. So it is.
Yes. Yeah, Christos said when you said number 9, he said completion. And that means the number 9 in numerology means completion.
Right. And our workshop group last this Monday was, most of us were senior citizens, but one brought his young electrical engineer son along, and he came as a favor to his mom, but he got really interested when he saw this GANs being made and this material made from iron and from zinc and from copper and blending it together. And so he said, I'm going to take this home to Austin, Texas, and work on this. So it was good that we made that kind of a connection there, and maybe with his electrical background, because most of Mr. Keshe's fans are novices in the world of science, because most scientists poo-poo it and won't open up their minds to this possibility of connecting with the plasma and with the whole universe to manifest power and health and nutrition and healing, as Mr. Keshe is teaching us. So it's very exciting. Well, this has been a great show, and Chris, I really appreciate it. And now, let's see. Next week, are you able to come back, or is it too close to Christmas time? I wondered if I should cancel my show, or if you wanted to come back next Wednesday. What is that?
That's
is it the 22nd or 23rd?
Let me see. Yeah, I could do the 23rd. Yeah, that will work.
Okay, folks, you heard it. We're going to be galacticizing and doing so many wonderful things. That will be my last show for this year, though, December 23rd. The special, we're going to have some commercials here, and Chris, you're welcome to put your commercial at the end of this YouTube video, and anyone who wants to talk to me more about the topic or learn about getting a Keshe box, my email is keytotruth@yahoo.com. That's keytotruth@yahoo.com. If you want to friend me on Facebook, it's Candy Carroll on Facebook, CARROLL. And perhaps Elizabeth would like to say something more during this quick commercial break at this point.
Okay, I'm here. First of all, you guys can always find Benjamin Fulford report on Diamonds blog. That's Diamonds with an S Forever 31.blogspot.com. And I'm here to announce that me and Chris are going to do our second ever, I don't know if anybody's ever done it in history, our second ever test call for the ETs to come in with their own voice or their own language or their own noises. We're going to upload the first one we did as soon as Chris finds it.
Yeah, when I find it, yeah.
Yeah. And so we want you to come there and be a pioneer witnessing history. And it's a special call. It's a private call for a small fee. You can be a benefactor of the Diamonds Network. Just give me a call. Oh, God. Anybody know my number? Because I don't have it with me. It's 763. What's the rest, guys? You got it on your phone?
Give me just a second. I will find it. Okay. Let's see.
And folks can also contact me, and I can put you in touch with Elizabeth.
Okay. Here's her number. I got it. Okay. Her number is 763-670-9120.
670-9120, and we're going to have this call sometime after the holidays, after the first, maybe after the first. But it's a private call, so we got like room for 5 more people. I got some people that's already going to attend. So give me a call. It's going to be an exciting time. It's they may not come in with their voice, but I'm saying yes. That's my say. But we're going to keep working at it. I've been talking with them, Chris. I've been talking with them, and maybe they heard me. That's why they gave you that technology. And anyway, we're going to work with the Galactics, and we're just going to have a good time on that show. So give me a call if you want to be a part of it. Thank you. That's it.
That is exciting. Thank you, Elizabeth. Remember, folks, she'll have a great call on Monday the 21st. I am not going to present anything more about Anastasia in December, but maybe you can be reading the books during the holidays and come join me and Elizabeth 2 Thursdays in January. So is Cynthia going to have a call on the 24th, or is Thursday the 24th canceled?
Little by little.
Oh, we'll have to announce it on Monday. We'll talk with her on Monday.
Okay, we'll talk on Monday on that. Listen, Chris, was there anything else that you wanted to bring in here at the end? I think it's a little bit too late for any private readings. We'll be doing that in 2016 on the Candy Shop shows, because we're going to be doing these topics every Wednesday throughout 2016.
I hear Mary, you're unmuted.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Yeah. Hey, Chris, would you give your site? You said you have many videos up of your ghost busting. I still have to get there and watch. So you should give your site out for that.
Oh yeah,
YouTube.
yeah. I'll do that. Yeah. All the beings left a minute ago, a bit ago. Christos said he gave his regards, and everybody, Unya and them gave their regards, and they all kind of flooded out of here. So let me see. My YouTube is www.youtube.com/Sage Paranormal Team, all one word.
Right, and remember to tell your friends to look for this show. In a couple of days, it'll be up on YouTube, and we're just so pleased at how many are watching. And if you just go to YouTube and type in Diamonds Forever channel, and there you are. My workshop is there. It's a great overview. Send links, pass the Candy Shop seminar around to all your friends. It's a great overview and introduction of what the whole Diamond Network is all about. And yes, you get to see yours truly right there. Okay. Folks, I love you all. Merry Christmas, and keep laughing and visualizing a perfect future. It's a wrap.
Good night.
Good night, everybody.
Are you looking for healing or a change in your life to help you enjoy it more fully? You might benefit from a galactic energy reading and clearing from Chris Jacobs. Chris will work with you on a soul level to clear unseen negative influences, implants, programs, contracts, and energetic blocks. Chris Jacobs is a gifted energy healer. Contact him today at ChristopherStephenJacobs@gmail.com.